Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live, back again on the normal time at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I'm joined by Steve, Kay and Jerome Marks. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, really good.
All good.
Arsenal still sitting top of the league. Win yesterday. I mean, it was against League One opposition, but they put in a solid performance in the first half. Oxford did. We spoke to Steve yesterday. Jerome, what was your thoughts on the game? Did you manage to catch it live?
Oh yeah. Watched it. The first half, I've sort of forgotten already. Not really. Wasn't our best performance, was it, that first half? Yeah. But they brought a couple of subs on and changed the game really. And once we got the first goal, it was like, you could sort of sit back and relax, really, and enjoy the rest of the game. Pitch weren't the best. They're a physical team, but they most important thing, they got through the game. Hopefully, Saka's will be okay for the weekend. And
I haven't heard too much on that. I'm sure if it was bad news, we may have heard something pretty soon. But yeah, I think you might have given an update on that earlier on.
I think Arteta said he's fine.
Yeah,
I think when he came out after the game, said he was fine.
And Jerome, Eddie Nketiah with another brace gets his brace, silencing the doubters.
He can't really do much more, can he, than what he's doing? To be honest, one of the things you are sort of guaranteed with Eddie is the goals. Like, he's always scored goals, so you're going to get that with him, which is obviously superb. And it's no mean feat. It's not easy, but that's just what he does. It's just all the other stuff in terms of linking up the play. But you can't knock him. You cannot knock him on what he's done so far.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. If you watched the game yesterday, Eddie Nketiah, he's scoring them goals. A lot of people still question him, but his all-round play has been pretty impressive so far as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like Jerome just said there, I mean, I just don't think he's done anything wrong. I think we wondered what he could bring it to the side. When Jesus got injured, like I said yesterday, he isn't the Jesus. We know that, but we can't ask no more of him. He's scoring goals. He's putting in the work effort. Even when he's not getting the chances, he's running about. He's getting stuck in. He's doing the work that that Jesus does when he was in the side. Mm-hmm. I mean, the goals for me isn't as important as what it is, as it seems to a lot of Arsenal fans. I think I said when Jesus got injured that, I think he's scored 5 goals since he's came to the club. But, but it was his effort off the pitch that we was going to miss. And Eddie's doing that. And he's also, adding to that as a bonus, he's scoring the goals as well. So, yeah, people need to get off his back a little bit, because I'm seeing a lot of people on his back. I don't like that. He's an ALM boy. He's been at the club for a long while now. Mm-hmm. He's given this price tag on his head, whether he's getting the full $100,000 a week, like some are saying. I mean, I don't think he is actually getting the $100,000 a week. But I think he's a bit less than that. But he's still got that price tag on his head. And it's not bothering him, and he's getting on with the job. Yeah. And he has to do that because we're sitting at the top of the tree at the moment, and we can't ask for no more from what he's doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think he said in a podcast about a year and a half ago, or last year, you can judge me once you've seen me play, but give me a run of 3 games, and then you'll see what I'm like, and then you can judge me. He made that statement, and he seems to be backing it, Jerome.
Yeah. So like I said, so far you can't knock him. I think the next few games, these are the big ones, aren't they? These are the big crunch games against top opposition. So hopefully he can just keep his form, keep his goal scoring form going in these games, because these games are going to have a big impact, I think, in terms of the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean, Jerome, I don't know if you've been to the ground. I know your dad might have been there. I mean, has he ever said anything about what it's like in the ground towards Eddie? Are they behind him? Do they get at him?
So I am. I went to the West Ham and Newcastle games. The fans are brilliant. They're all back in the team, and obviously Eddie's part of that. And I think you can hear. I don't know if you've heard, but when he scored a couple of goals, Eddie, when the team get in a huddle and celebrate with him, the team are saying Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. I don't know if you picked that up, but they're all backing him. I think we know that there's no point getting on someone's back now or giving them a bit of stick. That's changed now. All behind him.
He's completely different down the ground. I was there I know it's the Carabao Cup games, so it's a slightly different atmosphere from the Premier League games, but there was nothing but support on that day as well. And we lost. Eddie scored a lovely goal. Reece Nelson had a pretty good game, and the rest of the team were not great at all. But still, there was at the time there was the do we need the Carabao Cup? It's not all at the end of the world that we get knocked out. And a couple of years ago, I just don't think that would have been even the case. Even if it would have been the case that do we need the Carabao Cup, I still think people would have used that as an excuse to crowbar this isn't good enough towards Arteta, or this is the reason why we shouldn't have given Eddie a new contract because and all these things. So I do think the fan base has completely changed. The mindset shifted. As Jerome said, people feel now it's counterproductive booing the team because the players can pick up on it. Like I used to remember Theo Walcott looking physically like drawn out because he'd come to warm up and people wanted Joel Campbell to come on. Theo Walcott was coming on and people would be like, oh, and you could hear it in the crowd. And he was like, are you serious? He's our own player. And how's that meant to motivate him to play? Like the mentality, the switch is completely different. I'm loving it. And you can even see it online. Yes, there'll be every now and again, there'll be someone that again, they just want to be right about the prediction they made 2 years ago that's still not happening. So they're going to stick by it and to the death. But look, there's always going to be that one person and you can't please everyone. But yeah, no, it's the shift. The shift has made a difference as well because we've got that support for the team and it makes a difference on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, look, definitely. I mean, I was more sort of aiming it towards Eddie because I'm still seeing, like as you said, you get the little people some of the people on Twitter who, you know, if Eddie misses a chance, and straight away they're on that Twitter, aren't they? You know, straight away they're saying, you know, oh, he isn't Jesus. You know, we're not going to win the league. Arteta's done this. Arteta's done that. But I think, as you said, the actual you know, buzz around the ground is something that we haven't seen for a long while, and that's just it's something we need. It's something. I mean, I can't you know harp on enough how this kid Eddie Nketiah how he's grabbed hold of his chance. I mean, it can't be easy to come in for someone like Gabriel Jesus, who's one of the top strikers in European football. You know, he's playing for a club that's sitting at the top of the table, you know, and you've got this, you know, this pressure behind you from every single Arsenal fan who's just willing in and hoping that he does well and score goals. But to actually go on and then do it, and also take that, because there is that little bit of stick that's out there still. As you said, there are those fans that are just waiting for Arteta to fail a little bit. They're waiting for him to do something wrong. They're still there a little bit, you know, in their little pockets, in their droves, hiding in their little holes, waiting to come out. As soon as it is something that they can feel that they can grab onto. But no, I mean, look, Eddie Nketiah, I mean, I give him man in the match against Oxford. Yeah, and I'll go back to what I said. He could be knocking on the door. He could be knocking on the door, and that's all you can ask. If he can be knocking on that door when Jesus comes back to fit, and we spoke about it the other day, mate, and I think we both agreed with the fact that if he's playing like this and scoring goals, I think he sits on the bench, Jesus. Because it doesn't matter, because he was an Arsenal player. You put it perfectly on the post-match. He's an Arsenal player. He plays well. He stays in.
Yeah, and look, I think Jesus will want that. Eddie will want that. And players around the team will see that and feel like it's a fair ground. If you can play and keep your shirt, you keep your shirt. And that will only drive Jesus to be more hungry. And look, at the end of the day, if Eddie starts the first game that Jesus is back, and Eddie doesn't score, the chances are Eddie's coming out. If Eddie stays in, it's probably because he's scored. So, and we've won. So, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not. Yeah, I don't care who scores the goals, who wins the matches. Let's just win.
Just one other thing. What that does as well, Kears, is that type of attitude from the manager to do that, to keep him in, filters down to the other fringe players.
Yeah.
Because they know when they get their chance, or if someone's injured, if they do well, play well, then they know that they ain't. If you're on a pitch, you know that you can do all that you can, knowing that as soon as this other guy's going to be fit, then he's going to be off, and you're off, and he's back. They would play with your mind. It'd play with my mind, that's for sure.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. It would. No, I completely agree. Another player, but in some of their messages you may have seen, another player that they were saying he's useless, no creativity, no strength, always getting knocked off the ball, was Fabio Vieira. And then he comes up with 2 braces. It's like people are very quick to make that statement. But yeah, it did seem, Jerome, like once Xhaka came on and he had a bit more experience behind him, it gave Vieira a bit more room to shine. And he did, though.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like with any player, even with like Eddie, when you're playing with like maybe the sort of substitutes or the second choice, you're probably not going to play as well. Like any person that plays football, when you play with better players, it raises your level, doesn't it? And I think that's what's happened with Vieira. Like the whole team was terrible in the first half. It wasn't great. You could just see. But once Zinchenko, Xhaka came on, totally different. And I know Eddie was sort of the match winner, really, but you could say that it was Vieira that was the match winner. I mean, that cross,
the second assist as well,
and the second,
where Eddie's made that run and he's put it down the blind side as well of the defender, because the defender thinks that Vieira's going to put it straight because he sees Eddie's run. And he thinks he's going to put it straight through there. No, Vieira puts it the other side of the defender. So the defender's still running towards where Eddie was, and then Eddie cuts across him, and he's just got all that time and space. It was a lovely weighted pass. And
I think with Vieira, with that type of player, something I think that's really important is like getting a rhythm with the players you're playing with, playing regularly. He's not been playing regularly. He's not been playing, obviously, with these players every week. And I think the way Arteta played, obviously got certain patterns of play, way they build up. And I think that might have maybe affected him in the first half a bit. But once he gets into a game, you can see like it's like a flick, a switch has been flicked. And he sort of turns into a different player. And it's his first few months in English football. We didn't have a pre-season. It's very rare that someone's going to come in and hit the ground running and be amazing all the time. But he's shown so many signs of like real high quality that I just think it's one of those things that like first season, and I got no sort of issues with Vieira at all.
What's great as well, Kears, as well, that very similar to like the Gabo Jesus situation with Eddie Nketiah. You're getting a player who's not as good going into the position of someone else, and you're asking them to go and do what they do, and perform well. And Fabio Vieira's got to do that with Martin Odegaard, who for me is the best player in his position in the Premier League, bar none at this minute in time. And I'm talking about Fernandes, I'm talking about Kevin De Bruyne as well. You know, he's the best there is in his position. So again, for a mental state, for an Arsenal fan state, for a manager's state, to see a player like him to come on and play like that, again, we could say the same about Kieran Tierney, but for Vieira to come in and just perform constantly well all the time, every time he plays, and to come on, score 2 goals, assist 2 goals, and he's done it in the season before. It's great for us all, and everyone connected to Arsenal, all round, fans, manager, players. Yeah.
No, I agree, and like you said, it's big shoes to fill in coming in for Martin Odegaard, and we can't forget that it's only been recently where the general consensus on Martin Odegaard is that he's smashing it. It was still split. Like at the start of the season, last season, when he came on loan, it was still split. For up until probably halfway through last season, people were probably still saying, "Don't know, should have got Maddison." Like, it's a question why we brought in Odegaard. So it's not even a case of this guy's coming in to take over from an Odegaard who's had life easy. Odegaard has also been getting pelters. So it's all about patience. We know it's a tough position to play in. Arteta is asking for a lot in that position. He's asking for goals. He's asking for assists, and he's asking you to pull the strings as well. Like that's not an easy position, and they're 2 young players as well. But look, from what you've seen so far, can you see why he got 20 goal contributions in 27 games for Porto? Like the crosses that he's got, the technique. He's always in a position for a goal, even when he doesn't score, even when he's having an average game. He just seems to pop up in the right positions. So yeah, it's an exciting prospect to see, and the fact that he's actually putting notches on stats as well already is good.
Yeah. I think it's like important now that Arsenal buy players not only for their ability, not only for the things they can do with the ball, but their mental attitude as well.
Yeah.
You know, that when they come into the team, you know, if they are sub, you know, if they do get an injury out for a while, that, you know, they don't sulk, they don't get down, they don't sort of sit on the bench sulking, they're behind the team. You know, I think that's a big part, you know, of what Mikel Arteta, you know, will look for now as an extra sort of, you know, extra thing to the bow of when he buys players, you know, because you can't afford that type of thing when you're going into like title challenges or title races, and I think he's doing that with people like Vieira. Again, people can knock him, people can say things, but he doesn't seem to ever bother him. You know, say that about quite a few.
Yeah, and also on his mentality, I think it was Aaron that said it wasn't a starter week in, week out at Porto. He was coming on from the bench quite a lot, and when he did get in the team, he had to have that discipline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been playing under that manager, because he wanted a player that would track back. He wanted a player that would put it in as well, put in the distances, and have the patience to be on the bench and not expect, just because you're a big name in the youth team, to come straight into that team. And he definitely has that. I think he's only got, so he got what, 24 goal contributions in all competitions, and he only paid an extra 500 minutes.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's like 6 games.
Yeah, I think you get like the Mikel Arteta and the Pep Guardiola connection, where he's worked with him for 3 years.
Yeah,
they've both trained a fault. I mean, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, for me, that was a masterstroke signing. He's got a lot of stick, Jack Grealish.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
I don't get it. The attitude of that guy, where he doesn't play every week, he was the star. Pep knew that before he bought him, kids. Before he paid that 100 million, he knew that Jack Grealish had the attitude that he would fight, and even if he wasn't playing, he would fight, because you do not pay 100 million for a player without knowing that.
Yeah,
and Pep knew that because he's a genius.
Yeah,
and I think Mikel Arteta's on that same.
Well, if you look at that, but people will say that Jack Grealish is playing for a team that doesn't suit. He looks out of place. But that's the reason why he probably bought him, because they've been buying players that are your typical wingers, your skillful wingers, and it's like this is very similar to what we've already got. Sane, they wanted something different. They wanted something different. So what they do? They go and get the Jack Grealish. He's completely different to anything they've got. And I see similar traits in what we've got with Saka and Martinelli to having Emil Smith-Rowe. And Emil Smith-Rowe is our Jack Wilshere. Very similar type of player. Smith-Rowe is probably a bit more direct and a bit more attacking than Grealish. And Grealish probably looks to go for the assist more. But it's a very similar style. It's the low sock wearer. They're all the sorts that are very tricky with the feet, creative, good vision. So yeah, I just think I just ignore them people that they're just gunning for people. Speaking of Emil Smith-Rowe, good to see Emil Smith-Rowe back. One of your favourites there, Jerome. Didn't do too much, but you just want to see him have a run out and come off uninjured.
Yeah, exactly. He's someone that we sort of all forgot about, really, Emil Smith-Rowe. But when he's on it, I'll always say it. He's one of our best players when he's playing well, Smith-Rowe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, great to see him come back. And I think he was always just going to get a few minutes in his first game, just to sort of be amongst the boys again. Just to literally, get a few minutes under his belt, and hopefully, he stays injury free, and he can be a real key player for us between now and the end of the season. Because we are like Arteta said, we're definitely going to need him. Because for that Oxford game, I was a bit surprised to see both Martinelli and Saka starting that game. To be honest with you. But yeah, having Smith-Rowe there is great. And just, I know this isn't maybe a topic for now, but like with Marquinhos, for me, if you sign someone that's sort of over 18, a winger, and you don't start him in a game like that against a League One side in the FA Cup, then look, I know he's obviously young, but that doesn't bode very well, especially if you're starting your other main winger. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about that, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, having Smith-Rowe back's top job.
Yeah, I think with Marquinhos, he needs to go out on loan. I think he needs to go on loan just to get some game time. It's literally just game time. He's very highly regarded in Brazil. They think we absolutely got a steal at the price that we got for him. So yeah, he's too good for the under-23s. Like, I've watched Balogun play. I've watched this kid play. I've watched Amari Hutchinson play, and he's too good for the under-23s, but he's not ready for the Prem. He's not ready for certain teams in the cup games. And right now, I'd rather we took his confidence that he's getting from the under-23s and take that into a loan move than him sort of dwindle away, not get many games, have a 10 minutes here and there, not great performances, and it feel like a bit of get deflated. That's the last thing you want. He's buzzing. Look at the goal. Look at the celebration of when he scored in the Europa League for us. That was like he was crying. That was the biggest moment of his life. So he understands where he is. He's definitely going to have some patience with it. And yeah, I just think it's about making sure that we send him out on the right move. But before we look to start sending out players with our slim squad, surely we've got to start bringing some in. Steve, any updates on Mikhailo Mudryk? I thought that was quite a half decent segue there.
It was. Yeah, nice. We went into it. Well, actually, to be honest, there's not been a lot of updates since the actual craziness that sort of went over about a 45-minute sort of interval last night. So especially as soon as the Arsenal kicked off in the second half, so that's when all the news started to break about Mikhailo Mudryk. But for those who didn't see the show last night, where Arsenal are, the fee has been agreed. I've had that from last night, and I've had it from a very strong source today that the fee is agreed, and it's just a matter of the structure of payment that's got to be sorted. There's a little bit of a gap in when they want it paid. It doesn't take a lot of working out. The Arsenal want it paid over a longer period of time, and Shakhtar want it obviously on a shorter period of time. But they're not far off now. They're really, really close. It's not done yet. It's not 100% done yet because Shakhtar are really tough negotiators. They wanted from the off to get a record, departure fee for Mudryk, which was Fred for 53 million. They're gonna do that and some, but it's close. We need him. We've seen all the Instagram posts. We've seen all the likes, and if he didn't come now, it'd be an absolute laughing stock if he did it. It'll probably be the worst transfer mess up since Peter Ogwingi at the the car in the car park. That probably. So no, we're all the right things. Arteta's saying all the right things. He's repeating words that Mudryk have said. The Ukrainian journalist that I talked to a little bit more ahead now, or when I was like a few days ago, they was very sort of, I wanted more from them, and they wasn't really giving me what I wanted to hear, especially where I'm an Arsenal fan. So you obviously wanted that little bit more, and you're a bit more impatient. Yeah. Because you're not hearing what you want to hear. But recently it's stepped up. They're starting to give that little bit more. They're starting to say it's closer and talks are going well and it's ongoing. And which they wasn't before. We all know where he is at the moment. He's out in Turkey at the moment. He's training with his side, which I think is a good thing because we need him to keep fit. We've seen him in videos recently getting fit in the gym. I've been told he's not up to speed. By a Ukrainian journalist who I've been speaking to, and he needs to get fit. So for me, that's a good thing. I think it'll be around about 70 million. I don't think we posted out 60 plus 15 add-ons. I don't think we're going to be far out. I think we're going to be there or thereabouts. So that's where we are. We need him. When he comes in, whether he'll start straight away, I'm not sure. I don't know where, when we were just talking there, we were just talking about Bukayo Saka just a minute ago. I keep thinking we need him to rest. We're talking about, Marquinhos going out on loan. We're still short on that right-hand side because, mainly Mudryk is a left-hand sided player.
So that's going to have to be a shift from Smith Rowe then.
Yeah, do we put Saka out on the left? Do we put Martinelli in the middle? Does Nketiah come out? I can't see that happening now.
No.
I can't see that happening. But, yeah, we're close. We're a lot closer. And I think by the end of the week, I genuinely think he could be an Arsenal player.
All right.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one, though. That where he, because Saka's we're still short with Saka. We ain't got no competition.
Yeah, I genuinely think that Murchison would have had a say in whether we strengthen in that right hand side or whether we bring him through. I think that this was his season. He spent the last season on the bench quite a lot. a few minutes here and there in games.
Well, Hutchinson is that.
Yeah. And he made his debut for Chelsea the other day, didn't he?
Yeah. Did you see him? Did you see him play?
No. Did he play well?
Yeah, I think the tea lady made their debut for Chelsea the other day. They got so many injuries, mate.
He looked like physically.
Yeah.
Physically, he looked well off of it. I thought.
Oh, is it?
That's just my personal opinion. Yeah. Well, he's playing against Man City, so that can make the best of players look poor. But just he looked like he was a boy playing a man's sport. Basically, is how I saw it.
All right, interesting.
Just like Joao Felix did the other night against Barcelona.
Against Barcelona, yeah. Do you know what? He didn't look interested. There was no movement from him. It seems like he doesn't want to be a part of that.
Disappointed with that, guys? Are you disappointed with that?
What, the Joao Felix?
Yeah.
I am. I can't lie. I would have liked Joao Felix, but 280 grand a week seems a bit steep. 11 million sign loan fee seems a bit steep. But mate, I would have taken him for the 6 months. There's another option up top. He's another option anywhere across the top four. To be honest, But we need to bring in a forward player, whether that's on the wing or up front. I don't think we're going to bring in a forward. I do think we're going to bring in a winger, and I think that's going to be, if we're honest, the one. But if we get the one, I'll take the one. We just can't go through this window with bringing in no one.
Was you gutted, Graham?
What's that?
Was you gutted about Felix?
You know what? I actually watched the game against Barcelona, which maybe wasn't the best game to watch because of how, obviously, maybe in his mind he wasn't right. But when I watch him play, if you were to delete from my memory that he cost 130 odd million, right? I'd look at him, I'd think, yeah, he's a nice player, but I think Atletico Madrid well overpaid for him. Like, he's not a central striker.
Money back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not a central striker. He's not a winger. Like, he's a lovely player, lovely to watch. He's got great technique, but
you want more.
That's for £11 million plus his wages for. It's not even 6 months; it's 5 months. Like the season ends in May, I think.
£8,000 a week.
That's a big ask. Also, Chelsea, what they're going to get for that? They might go from 10th to 6th. Like, Chelsea's
scattergun approach to signings is awful. Awful. Literally, Todd Bowley, is going through the bins at Arsenal, finding out who we don't want, who we've been looking at. He's trawling through Twitter. He's checking teletext a lot. It's embarrassing. They need a centre forward. They went out and bought Raheem Sterling. They need a centre forward still. They got Aubameyang last season. They've seen that it ain't working with Aubameyang. What they do? They go and bring in Joao Felix. I mean, genius. Absolute genius.
Yeah. I mean, if Mudryk don't start and he starts on the bench, which, he's not going to get in front of Martinelli or Saka yet, is he? And he's not going to play down the middle.
No.
You're not going to pay 280 grand a week for a Joao Felix to come on in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, no. That's it.
To try and win you a game. When you see his attitude last night, I mean, all right, he might just be frustrated with Atletico Madrid. He might have jumped because of that. But I wouldn't want to risk that. And I think, like, from what I was told anyway, Arsenal was never going to go, it was always going to be like, well, you pay half their wages and we'll take him for like 5 million. And that's about it.
Yeah, it did very much seem that way. Yeah. Which is good. I didn't want Arsenal to go all out. You said that Arsenal, this isn't all or nothing, and it wasn't. Like they asked, and that is all I ask. That's all I ask. When I say we need to ask the questions about the Jude Bellinghams, this and that, I'm not saying Arsenal need to go out and get Jude Bellingham. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying ask the question of these top players, these young top players. You need to say, would you be interested in coming to Arsenal? Ask the question. Like, you have to ask, because like look where we are now. if we're not asking the questions of the best young players in Europe or in the world right now, then when are we going to ask if they would be interested in joining us? We're not. For anyone that didn't see the story, Declan Rice, Steve, can you give them the what happened with that and the update and what the thoughts?
First of all, I mean, this transfer wouldn't be saying it happened in January, so just forget that one for a minute. I mean, David Moyes has already said that it's something that would never happen in January. He's reiterated that quite a few times, which obviously tells you that something will be happening in the summer. And
100%.
This will be his last 6 months at West Ham United for Declan Rice, and he's been a good servant to them. So and they should let him go. The Arsenal connection, Arsenal interested, Arsenal inquired. As you say, it's about asking questions. I had a very good conversation with someone close to Arsenal, and brought up the fact that you're looking at Arteta's looking at the fact that Thomas Partey is 31 or 30, and Xhaka will be 30 by then. So Arsenal are doing going forward. They're looking to the future. They want to bring in one of the top DMs in the Europe or if in the world, and one of those is Declan Rice. Rice has been saying good things about Arsenal recently. Arteta has also been saying good things about Rice. Very similar to the Mudryk thing that's going on. I've been told that he will stay in the Premiership. He's not. He wouldn't go abroad. Chelsea were a club that were in for him, but at the moment it doesn't look like they've got no chance of making Champions League this season. So that one's getting off. There could be a bit of a bidding war by the time the summer comes, because of with Liverpool and Manchester City could be involved in whoever, depends on whether they get Jude Bellingham or not, which one gets who. Even though I feel Jude Bellingham's a little bit different a player than Declan Rice to me, they're not the same. Bellingham's is an 8, where Declan Rice is a 6. So you're not looking at, people keep saying, "Oh, Arsenal ain't going to pay 120, 150," but it won't be that. It'll be around about 70 million, 75 million, I've been told.
His contract runs out. His contract runs out in 2024.
Yeah.
So again, how can they charge 120 million, which is what they were talking about last season before?
Yeah. It was just that was just like a go away sort of thing. We're not selling him now. There's no point coming to us now. Just like David Moyes has said now, there's no point coming to Declan Rice now. They're in trouble. They're sitting in the relegation, not relegation places, but they're fighting in a relegation fight. So there's no way he's going to leave them, but he will leave in the summer. And at the moment, you will be looking at Arsenal as one of the top targets for his signature. So and for me, and I like the idea of it. I like Declan Rice. A lot of people saying, "Oh, no, I don't want Declan Rice," but I think if you are looking to the future, if you are looking for a replacement, or a replacement for Thomas Partey if he got injured, or if you're looking for someone to replace Thomas Partey, even Declan Rice is a good shout if you can get him for 75 million. So as you say, we've got to ask questions.
Exactly. Jerome, what's on a Declan Rice?
I can't think of too many better centre midfielders in the Premier League, to be honest, than Declan Rice. Also, he can not do a job. He's a very good centre back as well. Not that he's played a lot there recently, but that would help. I think he's excellent, and I think West Ham have obviously missed the boat in terms of getting the maximum amount of money they can for him. I think after the Euros, his stock was so high. Maybe you were talking 90, 100 million, but with his contract running down, and also West Ham aren't having a great season, that obviously makes it a bit easier in terms of it being a lower price. But he's going to go to a top club, isn't he, Declan Rice? And they made the mistake of not offering him a new contract when
like a few years ago, because they had him on like a 6-year contract or a long contract. And he was on something ridiculous, like some really, really poor wages, and they didn't offer him a new deal. So I think that was pretty much the starters of it, really. And look, it's West Ham. He knows his worth. He knows that he can go to a better team. Chelsea been sniffing around for a good few years now. It's his time to move on to progress as a player.
Yeah, look. The thing is when it comes to the next club for him. See, I don't know how big a part this plays with footballers. Be interesting to find out. But obviously, his best mate is Mason Mount at Chelsea, and you've got to weigh up how much does that influence the move? Should it influence it at all? Because no footballer is guaranteed to stay at the same club, their whole career. But could that influence it? Champions League football. I think we signed Partey without Champions League football, so some players might be more interested in it than others. It's I would, in terms of like, would I like him at Arsenal? Yeah, I'd bloody love him at Arsenal. I think he'd be excellent for our centre midfield.
He's not a number 6, is he? Sorry, he's not a number 8, is he?
No, I'd say he's a central midfielder. He's a centre midfielder. He can go forward. He's not attacking. He can defend. He's a centre midfielder. He's got a range of passing. And I think for him to step up to the next level is expanding on that. Is making sure he's a better tackler. He knows his position better. He can score some goals. He can add that to his locker. He can get a few assists. And that's where he then elevates himself to the next level as a central midfielder.
He's 23, isn't he? He's only 23.
Yeah, young. You know what he might be looking at? Which this is where Arteta's done so well. He seems to be the type of player that wants to get better, wants to improve, wants to learn. And if you're a young player at the moment, what coach are you sort of looking at thinking this guy's going to make me better and improve me? I think
I'm biased,
obviously you've got your Peps, but Arteta is having such a big influence there, and I think people know that Arsenal at the moment is a very stable club. Arteta will hopefully be there for quite a long time, and so when you're a footballer and that comes in, that Chelsea, they could get rid of him tomorrow. The manager, like, we don't know. I know it's a new owner, but they're not a very stable club at the moment.
I think we're seeing that with Chelsea now. For years, we looked at Chelsea, and a lot of players were going there, and we were wondering why you would go Chelsea. You know that your stock's only high for as long as you're hot, and as soon as you're not, you're gone. It's not even the case you can pull it back; you're gone. And the players seem to have cottoned on to that. One thing you get with going City, you get trophies, but you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed football anywhere. You're not guaranteed football at Arsenal. But if Arsenal buy you, you've probably got. I feel like you've got more of a chance of making it through at Arsenal than you have at Man City. City are just going to buy another player of your ilk, of your level, for that competition. Where I think Arsenal are going to give you a bit more room to spread your wings.
I've spoken to a few people who have turned around and said, "Well, we don't need Declan Rice. We don't need him. We got Thomas Partey. If we buy Declan Rice, then what'd you do with Thomas Partey?"
No, it's not what you do with Thomas Partey, though.
No.
Why are we still on this 1 in, 1 out?
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, this is if you're a manager of a club who you hope's going to win trophies, for the future, in the future and every season, and get, challenge the Champions Leagues and regularly, challenging for titles, I know Thomas Partey will be who he is. I know what he is, but he will be, coming up to his 30s. And if someone comes up who's 23 years old, who's one of the best DMs, if not in Europe, in the world, you have to sort of think, I've got to get him, even if it means, Thomas Partey being the one that comes out. You have to. If you're Mikel Arteta, you have to think like that. You think Declan Rice is 23 years old. Thomas Partey will be 30. For the future of Arsenal Football Club, you have to be thinking about getting Declan Rice in and paying 75. If he's the best out there, it'd be poor management, which we know he's not a poor manager. It makes perfect sense to me to bring him in.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's not a question of Thomas Partey. It's you're talking about a squad here. Right now, we do not. If Xhaka's out or Partey's out, we don't have someone in there who comes in and is the same level. El Nene's not the same level. He does a job. Sambi Conga is not even close to that level. So you bring in a Declan Rice, you raising the game of Thomas Partey, you'll raise the game of Granit Xhaka, because they will both be aware that he can play in either of their positions. And that is what you want. That's what you want. And you also want them to look around and go like, this is a solid team. This is a solid, because they will look around and they will be excited about a Declan Rice coming in. Oh, we're getting Declan Rice. Oh, we mean business. We mean business, and we're bringing in Declan Rice. We've just got Mudryk. We're going to bring in Dex. We're looking at so-and-so. The players are going to start looking around and being like, this team, we're starting this season talking about can we win the league? Not we're seeing where we are at Christmas. And that's the difference. That's the difference going forward. It's in the summer. However we finish this season, we need to go into the summer with the intention of challenging for the league now. Because look, we know we can do it. We know we can sustain a challenge up until this point, and the only thing stopping us going forward is a consistency and making sure that we can bring in the right player. We need squad depth. That's clear as day. So we need to make sure that we do it and continue progressing and continue our development, and that means bringing in decent players. Big game on Sunday. It's the North London derby. Massive game. Away from home. Yep, it's away from home. Thoughts on this one? Tottenham not in good form, but it does not matter, as we always say. What's your thoughts on this one?
Go on, Joe.
Go first.
It's you need one of Arteta's drawing boards to draw like the heart and the brain for this one, because I think this game is won and lost up here on Sunday, because technically, like we're a better footballing team than Spurs. It's just, can the players handle the mental side of it? When we played there last season, obviously we had a lot of injuries. We had a decimated sort of squad for that game, and that affected us. And going a goal down, you sort of thought, oh, the game's over now. Hopefully we'll be going there with pretty much our first choice team apart from Jesus. So like no excuses really on the sort of player side. I think it's just going to be mentally, like how strong are these players? How strong is this group now? And it'll be a massive result if they can win there for the first time. We haven't won at White Hart Lane for donkey's years. And again, I don't think because we're, not at Spurs' level. I think just mentally, we haven't been as strong. The crowd probably affects us. The occasion affects us. But this is where Arteta's got to sort of earn his corn and get these players like in the right shape psychologically, because physically and tactically we're miles ahead of them. I mean, I watched their game the other day. Spurs, they're poor. Like honestly, they play on the counter attack. They've got some amazing forwards, but they got no creativity from the middle of the pitch. Their defence is a little bit dodgy. Their keepers, he's probably retiring in a couple of years. Like amazing time to play him, and there's so much on the line for us. It's we could really sort of properly cement this title challenge by going there, and that would be a statement result winning at Spurs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a massive result. Steve, big game. Yeah. Must win. Must not lose. What is it? What would you call it?
Must not lose. I think. I mean, if we can get the win, unbelievable, fantastic. Like Joe, look, we're better than them. We haven't been better for them for quite a few seasons now, but you know, we're a better football side than them. For me, we've got a better manager than them. You know, the way you've only got to look at the league table to where we are. Watched them recently. Don't fancy them.
Did you fall asleep? They're awful.
Yeah,
they are awful.
Awful, mate. Absolutely awful. Didn't really fancy them at the beginning of the season, to be honest with you. Same with Chelsea. Didn't fancy them. You know, I didn't know they've proven me right at the minute. But yeah, I mean, look, it's at White Hart Lane. It's massive. You know, they've got the crowd, and like Jerome said, you know, Arteta's got to get into them. And I don't think it's too hard a job these days. I think he's got a lot easier job than he has in the past. I think they know. I think the players know. You know, I think, you know, even the players who, you know, from abroad, you know, they know. We've got that very good sprinkling of English players now. You know, Ben White's going to be up for it. You know, Ramsdale's going to be up. Saka's going to be up for it. Xhaka's going to be obviously up for it. You know, we've got players all over the pitch that really, if we play well, you know, we really should give them an absolute hiding. I watched them against Portsmouth the other night. They had a strong side at Tottenham, and they was not good. For me, they're just, you know, a one-man team with Harry Kane. You know, if Harry Kane's not doing it, then they don't win football matches. But look, looking at it from an Arsenal's point of view, I mean, how I look at the game, you know, obviously if we win it, you know, it strengthens our title challenge. Man City have got Manchester United the same weekend, so hopefully Man United can do us a favour, or it can be a draw there, or whatever. So that's not too bad. But yeah, definitely, not. You know, we can't lose it. I don't think it'd be a good thing to lose it. But you know, if we can just win this game, you know, forgetting the title for a minute, if we win this game, that's Champions League football. That's it. If there's any doubts about Arsenal not getting Champions League football, then you know this game, we beat Spurs. That's it. You know, we'll be 14 points clear of Spurs with a game in hand. You know, and they'll be sitting, and they'll be in fifth. So, you know, I'm looking at that first before anything, and then I'll look at the title in a few games' time, and as time goes on. But first thing first for me, get 3 points. For me, that's Champions football in the bag. So that's number one on the agenda for me. And and it'll be, you know, the team will speak for itself. But yeah, no, just really excited. And yeah, the boys are up for it. Then I think we'll win it quite easily this time.
All right, Jerome. Can you see many changes being made? Do you see Zinchenko starting at left back again? Ben White obviously at right back. Do you think there's going to be many changes in the team? Do you think it's going to be as per?
Yeah, I think every Arsenal fan is going to be able to predict this one.
Yeah,
I think we know his favourite team, don't we now?
Ramsdale, Saliba, White right back, Gabriel, Zinchenko left back, pairing of Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard in front, right Saka, left Martinelli, and Nketiah up top.
I'll be very, very surprised if that isn't the team. And I'll be happy to see it as well.
Solid team. Yeah. I'm getting excited now. I'm getting a bit excited. I can't stop smiling thinking about the game.
It's such an exciting time, though, isn't it? It's just such an exciting time. You could just see this team and the manager just growing and just getting better and better and better. It's just brilliant.
It is. And when you see that we're linked with people like Declan Rice, when you see people like the Brighton manager turn around and say that Mudryk is a Ballon d'Or in the future, you know you're in the right place. You know they're looking at the right players. It's big things are happening at Arsenal. Be excited to see what they do in the summer as well. It's about time. It's about time. Steve, do you think it's going to be key to get the win in the game against Tottenham on Sunday?
Who's going to think key? I mean, we're going to take the game to them. I think we won't. You know, we don't know how to play any, or not that we don't know how to play any other way. We can play anyway. I think like Man City. You know, if we wanted to defend, we can defend. If we want to go out there and take the game to a team, we can do that. But yeah, we'll take the game to them. We'll attack them, and I think the player. I mean, I've already mentioned him tonight. Because for me, you know, we bought him for around about, 40 million? For me, he's worth over 100 million that. But I think Martin Odegaard, you know, for me, he's going to be key again. Mm-hmm. What he's been doing over the last few weeks, he's just, you know, I still don't think he's getting, you know, enough credit from, you know, from Arsenal fans he is, but not from other fans, from other teams. They still give me, well, Fernandes is a little bit better, and De Bruyne. What about De Bruyne?
No, but Steve, these are statements from people that aren't watching us. They watch us here and there. They see a few clips because, again, it's the same people that like would have seen us against Oxford in that first half and gone, "This is the team that's top of the league." Oh, mate, this isn't going to last. And they would be saying things like that, and it's like, okay, this is an FA Cup game, so it doesn't count. In FA Cup games, even the best teams don't play well sometimes against lower league opposition. That's why they say it's we love the FA Cup, because you can get a team like Oxford that put in everything in the first half and they may get a goal, and then they sit in, throw everyone behind the ball, and they might take a draw and take it back to the Emirates, and that is what the FA Cup's about. It's not about Man City's going to go and stroll past every single team, because it just doesn't happen every time. Don't happen.
And again,
like
I think it's a lot to do with as well, Keys, that, you know, you've already said you said tonight about Martin Odegaard that when we bought him, it was like, what was you buying him for? You know, it was a Real Madrid flop.
Yeah.
You know, he was this. You know, what are you doing? Mikel Arteta turned man and said, This guy's the absolutely bee's knees. You're going to see this guy's going to become one of the best players in the Premier League, you know, bar none. And he is, to me now. He is that. So he's just special, mate. He's just
also said he's adding more to his game, which you'll see in the next couple of seasons. So
he's got the captaincy as well on him. He's taken that, you know, on board. You know, and I just love him in interviews, you know. And
if you listen to Mikel Arteta's, I can't remember what it was. It might have been the Jamie Carragher interview, but he speaks about Martin Odegaard and why he gave him the captaincy, and he said he's got the perfect blend of everyone that's in that captain circle, and then he's got Xhaka, and he's got Jesus, and he said Holding as well. He said he's got those three behind him that give him that backing, that give him that extra, that sort of that grit that you want from the other captain. It's all for good reason.
All I can say is thank you, Real Madrid, and thank you, Carlo Ancelotti. Who you know, we all love Carlo Ancelotti. Didn't rate him, didn't fancy him, didn't think he could make it. Silly man.
All right, Jerome, who do you think is going to be key to Arsenal to get the win on Sunday?
You know what? I'll go with Odegaard as well. As brilliant as he's been, I think against Newcastle, he wasn't at his best. I think he dipped slightly against Newcastle. Didn't have the greatest of games, and I think he'll want to put that right on Sunday. So I'll go with him, Odegaard.
No, I'm going for Thomas Partey.
Good shot.
Just because Spurs don't have the most impressive of midfields, but if you let them get into the game, like players like Højbjerg will cause you trouble. I think he might be out still. I'm not sure. But yeah, if we can nullify their midfield, they'll have nothing. Kane will drop deep. Partey will eat him up as well. So yeah, I think for me, Thomas Partey. Give us
Who's
your
going to
score
win
prediction.
the battle with the touchline, though, kids?
Hey,
That's fine.
hey, we'll talk about that next week because that has wound me up. Richard Keys once again coming out the gutter. Yeah, Richard Keys to have a pop at Mikel Arteta, mate. You should be keeping your head down. I'm gonna keep your mouth shut. He should be keeping his head down. Richard Keys, idiot. It's so clear what he's doing. Anytime he can say something about Arsenal, he will, because he's not relevant. So he needs to be relevant, and to be relevant, you've got to talk about Arsenal. Key player. Score prediction, Steve.
Score prediction. I think we'll win. I think if we play our game, I think we'll win by a couple of goals. I think like Spurs normally always get one against us. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1, and also I'm going to go for goal scorers. I'm going to go for Partey to get one. I'm going to go for Gabriel to get one. Someone's telling me Gabriel's going to get a tap in, or he's going to get an header from a corner. And I'm going to go Eddie again. Eddie's going to be a darling.
I'm getting well excited for this game already. It's only Tuesday. Jerome, who you got for your goal scorers? The goal prediction.
I'll go 2-1. I think Saka will score, and I don't think Ben White scored for us yet, has he?
He hasn't scored yet.
Yeah.
So I'll go Ben White and Saka.
Yeah, there's always like a Mertesacker, didn't he? Do you remember Mertesacker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mertesacker. I think in one season, he must have got about 4 or 5 goals in the season. He'd pop up with a few goals, he did. I'm going to go. I think we're going to win. I don't know why, but I feel really confident about this game. I was going to say 2-0, but then Steve said that we always concede, and he's right. It's usually Son or Kane with a penalty. I think that we might even give away a penalty. I'm going to go with 2-1, and I'm going to go for Martin Odegaard and Eddie Nketiah to score. And I'd be well happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. That is all we have time for. Thank you, everyone who's joined us tonight. If you are new to the show, press that subscribe button. If you are a regular, press that like, press that share button. It's good to see you, Con. Hopefully you come on soon. Make sure you press that like, subscribe button. Make sure you press that share button, and then press the copy button. That is as good as sharing it to any page. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining.
Cheers.
And thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Brilliant. Thanks, mate.
All right. Make sure you go and follow the Transfer Exchange Show as well for all the latest updates. Go and follow Steve on his page, Steve KS1TV. You'll find him there. For the latest in the Mudryk deal and going forward for any other deals that potentially Arsenal may go for. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.